Today we are taking my Model X Plaid on a bit of a winter stress test. We are going to go from my home in Los Angeles to Mammoth Mountain. It is a trip that is about 300 miles away, which is just under the stated range of the vehicle. I don't expect to do the trip in one charge because there's a couple of factors here involved. Number one, we're going to have 3 grown adults with all of our gear, so we estimate about 600 pounds of additional weight on top of the vehicle itself. We're also going up about 8,000 feet to get to the base of Mammoth, and that also will affect our range. In addition to that, the temperature here is about 55 degrees, but the reports are saying that the temperature up here is about 5 degrees, and with wind chill, it feels like minus 11. So we've got 3 factors here that each of them independently affect the range of electric vehicles, and we've got all 3 of them. Extra weight, elevation, and we have extreme cold. So what we're looking to see here is how well the Model X, first of all, how well it handles in the snow, how comfortable we are with the climate control on, what the effect of that is on the battery range. In addition to that, you can see that the navigation has planned 2 supercharging stops. We want to see how long those stops take. We also want to get a cost of the overall round trip from Los Angeles to Mammoth and back and compare that to what we know it costs when we've done this trip in an ICE vehicle. It's going to be a fun weekend. Hopefully the only surprises that we get are good ones where we're impressed with how the vehicle handles and how cheap it costs. The trip usually takes about 5 hours in an ICE vehicle. Let's do this. So I've never seen this before. I'm at a supercharger near Mammoth, and every single stall is full. Minus these 2, because they're the 72 kilowatt hour ones. Who needs those? Okay, now that one of the guys left. Got a mix of X's, Y's, 3s. So much for EVs can't handle the snow, huh? Now we're gonna go buy a scraper and get back on the road. Stop number 2. Most of the chargers are full. There's a couple more over here. The first stop was $17. We're getting 148 kilowatt hours. It says about 25 minutes. We're currently at 40%. 50% battery consumed. It's not bad, actually. Driving. We're doing about cruise control about 80. Not bad. My first time doing this. It is 9 degrees up here in Mammoth right now. The battery says I have 30%, but I got the little snow indicator, the little snowflake indicator, so I'm definitely losing range, but it'll go up to a scorching 19 degrees today. And I figure why not just clean the car up since we're not going to get any snow. Driving up here actually was pretty good. No issues to speak of. Supercharging was amazing, and it really only added about an hour to the trip. So I'd say we got here in about 6 hours. The trip normally takes about 5. Overall, I was really impressed. Traction was really good. We did spin out once, but I mean, I was making a U-turn. Having the air suspension really helped to be able to lift the car up. As long as I stayed under 15 or 35 miles an hour respectively, everything seemed fine. The heated windshield wipers was a big bonus. That definitely helped. All seems to be going well. The all-season tires seem to really be doing their thing, and the extra weight really does help. Before we did the trip, I removed the summer tires. Here you can see the foam on the inside to deaden the sound. Replace those tires with the Continental Extreme Contact Sport Plus Technology all-season tires. You can see a massive difference in tire tread here. Much more grip in the snow. Although once you start sliding, nothing's gonna stop it. So far so good with respect to the Model X Plaid stress test. Let's see what we're getting battery-wise here. So battery-wise, we're losing a small percentage of the battery. Looks like a lot less than I thought, to the fact that it's freezing cold. Right now, the outside temperature is 15 degrees. So I got about 23% battery. I'm really close to a supercharger, but we're gonna go hit the mountain today and then get this thing back up to a good state of charge, run the heater, defrost everything. If we don't get snow, then the car should be fine. All right, so the car's been sitting out all day. I've got it defrosting. It's been sitting out all day in 19 degrees. You can see it's preconditioning. I still have a battery condition. But what's interesting is the gullwing doors won't open. It's giving me an error. Let's see if it'll open from the outside. It's giving me an error that these doors just won't open. So that's not cool. It's something that I would expect to be ready to go, or at least have some system in place to defrost whatever needs to be defrosted in order for these to open. Let's see if they'll open from the inside. Got an override going. It's opening. There it is. Okay. So from the inside, I can open the gullwing door. That's all I really wanted to see, is that the door is open. I can then take the scraper and go up top, see if there's anything in here. Nope, everything is looking good in here. Looks like it's just cold, okay? So this is good, this is promising. This morning, some sort of foam was pushing out from in here. I'm hoping it's not an issue, but that was interesting. All right, so let's see if we can open the other door from the inside. So we'll close this door. It's closing very slowly. Could this be the motors are very cold? In addition to, I don't have a lot of battery. But let's see if we can open the other door. Okay, and there it goes. Okay, I'm not getting that weird hinge thing that I was getting. And there it is. Everything looks to be good. Now we'll just close. Closing seems to be okay, and that's all normal. Okay, so it's closing. Now we're gonna go to the nearest supercharger, and that'll get us ready for tomorrow. So let's see if it'll close the passenger door from here. Okay, that still works. Driver's door. Oh, interesting. There we go, okay. All right, so we are headed to the nearest supercharger. All right, 6 minutes, here we go. The one disconcerting thing about driving an EV in the snow is without the sound of the motor, I can't tell if my wheels are slipping. But overall grip has not been a problem going up or downhill. All right, let's get to that supercharger. We've arrived at the supercharger here in Mammoth. I'm gonna plug in as far away from the other cars as possible. This is the most frozen I've ever seen a supercharger before. So let's go see what we get. I've never seen a supercharger this frozen before. So let's see what we get. Come over. Take the vehicle. Plug it in. It's blue. We're waiting for that green light. There we go. Indicates that the car is now charging. So I gotta say, with all of the other issues that I've seen, some of the other reviews of other car chargers, once again, it's a testament to Tesla's charging network. It says we are charging at 148 kilowatt, about 400 miles to the battery per hour. And it says about 55 minutes to get to my charging limit. I'm gonna leave it at 100% for now and just see what happens. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna run the heat and try to get this car back to 100%. What would be the takeaways of a trip like this in the Model X from what I've seen so far? The pros are the power of the vehicle, the handling of the vehicle, and the range. With Tesla's supercharging network, range has not been an issue. I've actually been charging earlier than I would need to, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough juice to get up here, and I wasn't sure what the impact of the cold was going to be on the battery. But honestly, that hasn't been the issue. Handling has been really well. The air suspension, being able to lift and lower the car, has been great for clearance. I did not lose as much battery as I thought. And I mean, we had 9-degree weather all night, and I maintained the same amount of charge that I had, which was about 30%. And whatever I did lose would have come back to me had I have been able to warm up the car. So that is pretty impressive. I'm comparing this to the videos that I've seen of people with non-Tesla EVs trying to charge on a third-party charging network. It really seems like it's a crapshoot. But with Tesla, that anxiety is just gone. And I did have a little anxiety coming up here, but I have to say, like, during the actual trip itself, it really did put me at ease. Never had an issue also with the car, with feeling like the car could get up to wherever we needed to get to, or that the car would handle it. So that hasn't been an issue. The cons of the car, I would say the biggest con of the car is the doors. The Falcon Wing doors are a complex piece of machinery, and whereas the trunk does not seem to have a problem opening and closing on its own, maybe it's the fact that there's two hinges or the leverage on the particular motors up there, but I was not confident this morning opening them up. I couldn't initiate the door opening from the touchscreen. I couldn't initiate the door opening from the outside. The only way that I was able to open it was from the inside, and that tells me that unless the car thinks that there's someone stuck inside trying to get out, it's not even going to let you try to open the door. That to me is an issue. For a vehicle that's been out this long with this feature, the Falcon Wing doors should be as reliable as the trunk. Unless there's a real issue of potentially breaking something, it should let you open it. And if there is an issue, then there should be an error on the screen that tells you why it can't. Otherwise, you're just sort of left trying to figure it out. I made sure to get every bit of snow out of all the crevices, and still, when I opened it up, some of the foam on the inside was coming out of one of the hinges, and that door actually got stuck. So it could have just been a software issue where the car was detecting an obstacle and it wouldn't allow the door to open, but there was no obstacles. And when I did shut the car off, and after the day on the mountain, when I came back, the doors seemed to open fine, and that foam piece didn't come out. The Regen is a bit of a problem. I feel like it slips you out sometimes because it's artificially braking you, and your tires don't want to necessarily stop. This is why the Tesla Model X desperately needs track mode. Elon, you gotta put track mode in the Model X and the Model S. What the hell is going on? How do we not have track mode so we can see in real time a display of what's happening between the wheels and the ground? It's a little bit ridiculous that this car does not have that feature, because that would tell me exactly what's happening, what wheel is slipping, what wheel's not, how much torque. Like, you got to give me these options. This is just software. It's just software. Like, make it happen. I also feel like in the last update, the pre-visualization here got a lot better. It's a lot more accurate, and it's picking up a lot more things than it did before. See here, I can feel it slipping out a little bit from the Regen, where the car's trying to slow down, but the momentum of the car's not letting it. So you get a little bit of wheel slippage there. They definitely need to do something, and it could just be as simple as a track mode.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
We're at 92% state of charge. It is 19 degrees outside. The next time we turn this car on, we're gonna load it up tonight, and we're gonna see how much charge we have left in the morning to get us out of here. We are at the top of the world, man. Yeah, so you can see we're regenerating a good amount. If I get a little speed and just let it go, we're regenerating a good amount. All this downhill. Of course, we gotta go 69 miles an hour. There we go. Final supercharger stop on the way home.
We'll meet you inside.
All right. Green. It's 11 minutes to continue trip, but we are going all the way to 100. We'll go to like 95. We'll go to 95. Oh, and we're getting the full 250 kilowatts. Beautiful thing. So we will charge this thing up super quick. So this was the last leg of the trip, 30%. We're back. It's 55 degrees now, and it is 9 o'clock, and we left at 3 o'clock. So this is a trip that normally takes about 5.5, 6 hours, and with the supercharging, anywhere from 35 minutes to 45 minutes. We still made it back in roughly the same time that it would have taken if we were in an internal combustion vehicle. Before I left, I reset trip A, and you can see that over the course of 2.5 days, we traveled 610 miles. We had a total energy consumption of 259 kilowatt hours with an average energy consumption of 425 watt hours per mile. The last supercharging session was $28. So what are the takeaways of this trip? Well, okay, performance-wise, Model X Plaid is an absolute beast. On the road, there's really nothing that can keep up with this thing. Click here if you want to see what this thing did on an autocross track. It's an absolute monster. Off-road or in snowy conditions, it has proven to me that it is equally capable in the cold or in snowy conditions. I put all-season tires on the car, and it handled amazing in the snow. I do have an issue with the Regen. It does cause you to slip sometimes when you're just trying to coast in the snow, and I do wish that there was an option to be able to at least adjust some of the Regen to compensate for that. Second point. The Model X Plaid needs a track mode. It's a little bit ridiculous that the Model 3 Performance has it, the Model Y Performance has it, and the Model X and S do not have track mode. That is probably my biggest complaint about this whole thing. I see a lot of videos of how well the Model 3 and Y Performance handle in the snow, and I feel like this car would have been even better in the snow if I would have been able to adjust the number of parameters that are available in track mode for Model 3 and Model Y. Charging. Tesla's supercharging network is the nail in the coffin for ICE vehicles. I was up there for 2 days. It was 5 degrees at the base of the mountain, and it felt like -11 with the wind chill, and I did not see any other EVs up there. It was Teslas and Teslas only, Model 3s, Model Ys, X's, S's. No other EVs were represented. And why is that? My guess is not that those vehicles can't handle those conditions, but the charging network is just not there. There's no way you're going to risk doing a 5-hour drive in that kind of a condition if you don't have reliable charging. The supercharging network is just completely dominates. It alleviated all of my anxieties going into this trip. I was concerned before the trip that this was going to take much longer to drive than it usually takes us when we take an ICE vehicle. Round trip, it really was not an issue. We had 2 stops along the way. We were able to eat, or we hang out for 15 minutes, grab the cup of coffee, and we were back on the road. The charging network really impressed me because it was also, the charging network was in such horrendous conditions. I've seen a lot of videos, especially from out-of-spec reviews, some of the absolute nightmares that him and other people have reported trying to charge their EVs in suboptimal, snowy, winter, cold conditions. I could not imagine what that would have done to a trip like this and to my confidence in EVs in general if that's the network that I had to be on. After a trip like this, I really feel like there is no competitors to Tesla. I came away way more bullish on Tesla and Tesla stock as a result of this trip. And I'm really curious about doing this trip in my wife's Model Y. Now that I've done this trip in the Model X as a base layer of comparison, I'm really curious to see what the differences would be taking the Model Y on that trip. I assume it would be roughly the same. We did obviously have a little more space in this vehicle than we would in a Model Y, but I think that the same comments that I had about how it handles in the snow and the charging network would be the same. And finally, if you've gotten this far, I want to say thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it, and I'll leave you with highlights from the snowboarding trip. See you next time. We are at the top of the world, man.